When I was younger, there was this sort of old divide, and it was between the behavioral scientists, who were like whatever the lofty academics. In fact, nobody called themselves behavioral scientists when I was younger or earlier in my career, other than those working in the health profession. And generally, behavioral science, you had to have a PhD and you were normally working in a hospital. So it was a lot more lofty. And most of the people who were applying it were either governments or health agencies. And this is old school. And then what would constantly happen is these academics and these medical professionals would build these behavioral interventions, and it was like very theoretical. And then for implementation, they actually didn't do it themselves. They generally didn't know how to. So when I started off my career, behavioral scientist, they couldn't do a press release. They couldn't make a poster. They actually had no experience in designing the materials for actually applying behavioral science. And I know a lot of scientists who specialize in behavioral science who have never once worked in a communications campaign. This is how it used to be, and it's still like that to some degree now. So what would happen is they would hire out a creative agency, or they hire creative staff, and they would hand over this like blueprint. And it was like fairly academic and full of all these strategies that were grounded in the theory. And often the creative implementers would say, this doesn't make any sense, and they would go off and do their own thing. And then you have a political meltdown, and then the behavioral science, the academics would be like accusing the implementers of ruining everything, and the implementers would say, you gave us this like theoretical nonsense that had no grounding in reality. It wasn't even implementable. I've seen that a few times. So nowadays, things are a lot better because you have a lot of people who have a hands-on skill. They have a lot of hands-on creative frontline communication experience, and they also understand psychology. And that's what we're doing in this class. We're going to be focusing on this transition. So how do we go from a good theoretical basis and implement it well? It's like that old adage, what's a classic of literature? It's a good story told well. And the same goes with behavioral science. It's a good theory applied intelligently with strategy and creativity. And if you do it right, it's a lot of fun.